It's a 1959 shark fin Cadillac. What could be cooler than the largest fins ever produced with a bullet tail lights? And the thing weighs about 6,000 pounds, I think, but what a treat. And Bob and I will be driving in that this morning. So stay tuned. We'll have more to say about that shortly.
Professor at Kettering University, Professor Reg Bell, who started in 1963, and when he rolled into campus, this was the car he drove in on. So after he had been there for 50 years, in 2013, one of our alumni actually surprised him with a replica of his original vehicle, which he had to get rid of at some point. So he drove that for 2 years, and after he passed away in 2015, his wife came to the university and said that he actually left it to the university.
And so, what does this mean to the university to own this car?
It means a lot to us. Professor Reg Bell was one of the longest professors in Kettering's history. He had taught thousands of students, and he had a saying when you asked him whichever student was his favorite, he always said, "I love them all." He wrote letters of recommendation for everyone who asked and kept up with all of his students. So having this is like having Professor Bell still with us.
Okay, you're taking it on the drive home, number 3, and you've been with it for about 5-6 days now. What kind of personal observations can you make about the drive home and about the vehicle? How's it holding up?
Well, the vehicle's actually holding up really well. We only had one small issue, which I don't know if you saw earlier. There's a few green tape marks over here on the rear window. It actually fell off the actuator arm and the window dropped into the door. So we, in Ace Cafe in Orlando, tore the door apart, put it back on the actuator, and cinched it shut a little bit there. So we marked it and took a picture of what we need, so that way we can get it a more full restoration when we get back to Flint. Some observation about the trip is it's really exciting. Everywhere we go, we're having people slow down to ask us questions. We're stopping at red lights and having people honk and wave, and we had a few garbage men when we were in Orlando actually stop and ask about the car. We've had people come from out of the woodworks to talk about how they had family who owned the car. We've had everyone as young as 4 or 5 years old come and sit in the front seat of the car, and it's exciting to see the future. I get excited about old cars too.
So this has been a pretty good relationship with the Trust.
Yes.
And Kettering.
Yes.
And you're getting a lot of visibility, at least on the east side of the country, for Kettering.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah, no, we're super excited about this.
So Steve, I guess the question I have for you is, do you want one of these now?
Well, I'll tell you what, Bob. I would love to have one of these, but I would love to have another 100 different old cars. You know, if I often said that if I really had the time and the money and the space for an old car, I wouldn't know what to choose. If I had $100,000 in my pocket at the Barrett Jackson auction, I wouldn't have any idea what I would choose, because I love them all. I just love them all. And I had a 62 Cadillac, not unlike this one, that was my daily driver for a number of years. And that was a real treat. So this kind of reminds me of that old car. You know, we tend to want old cars that remind us of things we've had in the past, and so that would be one strike in this car's favor.
Yeah. Well, what about the car itself, though?
Well, the car itself is a big two-door coupe, although, you know, we tried to squeeze into the back seat earlier, and it wasn't an easy task for guys our size, that's for sure. But it's a big luxury car of the late 1950s. It's got a big V8 engine, it's got a skinny little steering wheel, a skinny little shift knob, and it's got a light touch on everything. Power steering is effortless, power brakes are effortless. Just a big, heavy luxury car of the 1950s.
What did a car like this cost originally? You know?
Probably this one would have been about $5,000 or so. when you could have bought a Chevy for maybe $2,500. I'm going to guess those are just estimates. You know, this was an era when I was, let's see, in '59, I was, 11 years old, I guess, and lusting after any car that I saw. And I remember thinking that this Cadillac was something from another planet almost. My dad was a Chevy guy. We were a GM family, but he always had Chevy four-door sedans with 6-stick, no radio, no, just, you know, just a plain car. So whenever I saw something like this, I was just thrilled.
How does it handle? What does it feel like there?
Well, by today's standards, it feels like a barge. Standards of its day, it was probably pretty good, pretty luxurious, but it's characterized by softness, soft ride, kind of a wallowing character. If you go down the road and just, you can kind of swing its tail like dancing a little bit. Because of the overpowered power steering and brakes and so forth, it's a little touchy. It takes a little getting used to, so you don't jerk it around too much. But it's like I say, by today's standards, you'd think this was a barge.
Yeah.
Other than that, one of the oddities of it is that reverse on this automatic is all the way at the bottom of the shift pattern, as opposed to right next to park like most cars are, or most cars were even then. The heater defroster, I don't think it even has air conditioning, does it? Nope, no air conditioning, which was not uncommon even in an electric car that day. Oh, there goes another one of our group.